Wow. I can't top that. Thank you very much. One more round of applause, please. It's just incredible. I started, and I'm going to keep this rolling. I told you we'd get you out here on time, so if people need breaks, just take them, because we're not taking one. I started this by saying, Walgreens and OfficeMax have been incredible partners, and you can see why. These guys have opened their doors. They've opened their doors to anybody, and please take them up on that offer. And please share everything within the organization. Hopefully you see a consistent mission. Life and meaningful and competent adulthood, you can wrap different words around it, but effectively what these guys are doing, I hope that we can replicate here in Chicagoland, and then hopefully we can take it bigger. And that is making what you've been doing on your own dime and your own efforts a little bit bigger, a little bit broader, and let's get 20 and 30 companies working on this. And that list was incredibly impressive. Let's do it here in Chicagoland. I want to drill this down for the last 25 minutes, 30 minutes, down to a little bit lower level. And that is to let you hear from Walgreens and from OfficeMax and from Turning Point. So what we're going to have is a panel, and I'm going to ask just a few questions, and then, as I said at the beginning, we'll stick around for questions afterwards and do any networking. So if I could ask that the panel members come on up. Larry Hartley, the Senior Vice President, and you have their names on your thing, of Supply Chain, with OfficeMax. Chris Richardson, Vice President of Operations. Colleen Hayes from Walgreens, who's the Chicago South District Manager. Deb Russell, who's the Director of Diversity and Inclusion. Drew Glassford, our Executive Director from Turning Point. And Chris Simler, he's coming. Chris Simler, who will be the Director of our Career Development Center. While they're getting situated, and I apologize if I screwed up or missed any names, but I need to thank a lot of you guys, because you've all somehow touched this. But sitting in this row right here, and Randy mentioned the retail, and Randy mentioned the managers, and the meeting of 10 managers, and you got 30 volunteers. What you all don't know is that this was probably 18 months ago we started conversations like this, and with Deb and Colleen's assistance. We got Deb and Clint, Joe, and Paul, and Gary. These guys right here have been unbelievably supportive at a retail level. And they, were willing to meet with us. We had sessions where we had, what do we have in that room, guys? 15 managers or something like that. To basically tell us, what Walgreens would like to see out of a partner like Turning Point that could help you do better. And so, I know many of you may not have met these guys, but if we could, can we just give a round of applause for the support of them? So, Deborah Colleen, you're okay, but it's like a game show. What I'm really interested in is, we've got schools and we've got agencies and we've got corporations out here, and they're probably all going, this all sounds good, but what did you really find? What would even make you think about partnering with somebody? And what I'm interested in is, maybe just what are the top 2 or 3 issues that you've experienced in trying to employ people with needs that, you've experienced them, and now we're looking for solutions, and maybe someone out here has that issue and they would go, wow, that's me, I need to figure out how to solve that. If you could give us Walgreens, and then we'll give an OfficeMax perspective.
Sure. I think the biggest barrier that we've encountered in our attempts to be more inclusive of people with disabilities, unfortunately, is the agency side of the coin. We rely heavily on our partnerships with our community organizations who serve people with disabilities to assist us in understanding individuals better, to help us source the candidates. As Randy said, people with disabilities aren't just going to come banging down your door for a job. You need to do some outreach and have some more concerted efforts. And we've had a lot of disappointments with the agency community, and that's really unfortunate. We've had a lot of agencies who have said to us, oh, our people can't do that, or our people can't work full-time. Our people can't get their own ride to your place of business, so if you're not going to provide transportation, they can't come work here. And it's just unfortunate for the people they serve. And it's unfortunate for us because we can't take advantage of the talents those individuals have. So I think that's been our biggest barrier. And the rest of it's internal, just us not knowing where our barriers are and discovering them, and the need to create the action plans to make sure that we break them down. Some of that sometimes takes a lot of time. I used to work for Randy, but now I work for HR, so I have to be a lot more cautious about what I say we can do. But it's barriers on both sides. And when you find that barrier, just trying to figure out how to fix it. And unfortunately, it's been faster fixing them at Walgreens than in the disability community sometimes.
Careful what you tell her now, Rita. How from an Office Max perspective?
Mark, if you could pass the microphone down to Brian, who runs our Chicago Distribution Center, that'd be great.
Thank you, Larry. Stand up. Some of the challenges we've faced, I wouldn't really call them issues, focus first and foremost on our recruiting practices, similar to what Deb was just saying as far as getting candidates in the door, but also we noticed our interviewing process needed to change and adapt to what we were trying to do. When we took a look at our interview guides, we have a standard form and standard questions we ask individuals. We started interviewing individuals with cognitive disabilities, and they were struggling getting through the interviews, so we stepped back and looked at the questions we had on our interview guides, and to be frank, I don't think I could actually pass one of our interviews, because they were three-part questions. They were challenging. They had a lot to do with experiences of prior companies that they worked with. So we went and we actually changed our interview guides to still a standard, but we really made the questions much more understandable and really answerable for anybody, not only for individuals with disabilities, but any of the candidates that come through our door. So we've seen some success there. Another challenge that we will continue to face, and I'm really excited about partnering with Walgreens, is our ability to understand what accommodations we need to make to really aggressively pursue this initiative. We've made some minor accommodations. We allow job coaches attend interviews, help us along the way. But what else can we do as far as accommodations to really, the phrase I've been hearing is go big. How do we go big? What other types of accommodations do we need to do as far as training? I mean, really our partnership with Turning Point is starting to get us into that realm of, okay, how do we train to make sure that we're hiring successful candidates into our building, and then how do we ensure that we retain them appropriately as well? So those are challenges we've faced. We've made some changes, and I believe we'll continue to face, and we'll continue to look at them to see what we can knock down. So that would be from the distribution side.
Thank you. Colleen, maybe if you could elaborate a little bit. You sat through a few of our sessions, and Randy mentioned, I think the number was 10,000 employees we hope to someday have in the retail environment. That's obviously not all in Chicago. But maybe just a little bit as you move from learnings in the distribution center to now migrating that to the retail. What learnings you've had, successes, and potentially, I don't want to use the word failures, but successes and potentially difficulties that you've experienced as you tried to integrate people with needs into the retail community?
Well, I think as what Randy stated is we've been doing this for a long time. This didn't just start on the distribution end. Store managers like what we have out there and store managers from Office Max have been doing this within their communities. We haven't told corporate yet for a real long time. And I think a lot of the opportunities that we faced is consistency, job coaches. I think what Deb refers to, I can't work Saturdays, that's when maybe we need them, the Saturdays, but then we more involved than we are within the community and the families, and they can see our commitment to it, we are able to go and put it all together. So hopefully to continue to get to the 10,000, but it's the managers that go and make it happen.
Well, thank you. Let me continue with that with the managers and stick with you, and then we'll go to Office Max. One of the really neat things, we had this meeting with Walgreens, all the managers were there, and we're trying to figure out what can Turning Point do, what's this look like, what's it feel like, and the unbelievable, for me, inspirational was that every one of these guys said, I want to help, and we talked about that. But Randy talked about, this is a business you run, 3 cents on the dollar. And you got to run a business, so that's a big investment you're making. Can you maybe explain, kind of the what's the store district manager talk about, what's the head of retail talk about to get the managers to agree to participate, to volunteer, and then Office Max be interested in how are you maybe going to drive that culture? Because one of the things we think is a differentiator with Turning Point is that we're not doing this in a vacuum. We're going to teach with our corporate partners. So when you're in the classroom, there's someone there with you who understands that corporation and understands how that's working. So maybe if you could explain a little how you got that commitment.
Well, our commitment to at Walgreens is continued outreach. within the communities. And it's not, I think it's inspiring people, but I think our people are inspiring us to go and make it work. And, Randy, you've always inspired me. I mean, there's a lot of people in this room, and it's about being awestruck, and it's about what Turning Point is doing. And I know we had a great meeting talking about the elephants in the room, because we needed to talk about the elephants in the room, to where not all managers are comfortable. And how could we go and get rid of some of those big walls that have been built? And I think that and everything that they went and helped bring to light, we were able to come up with some resolve and find a resolution, because it's all about finding resolution. So I think with the inspiration from everybody wanting to do the right thing and our engagement of our employees, and we have employees, not just managers, we have employees that are coming up to us, what can I do? What can I do to help? And it's within the school districts, it's within the communities, it's all our commitment to well at Walgreens, and this is how we're going to go and get there, is through our people who are so engaged.
Chris or Larry from Officer?
Yeah, I think Colleen hit on some of it. It's really not about needing to find volunteers. There's so many willing people in our stores, and as our store leaders and associates are today. We really, over the last couple of years as a company, spent a lot of time talking about community and diversity in our stores and in our markets and communities that we serve. And having spent a lot of time myself out in the field and now in the corporate office, it's rewarding more than anything else to go out and hear from the store managers and the district managers their interactions and their feelings from when they got involved in the community. And then it becomes them leading the others and getting people excited and feeling as though they want to be a part of it. Not that they need to be or they have to be or that someone at corporate said that you've got to do this. But we've got a district manager in Dallas, interestingly enough. You mentioned Texas, North and South. So we've got 4 districts in Texas. And we've got a district manager there that is just an unbelievable leader in getting out in the community and creating excitement. And he's got 22 store managers that choose to do it, that want to do it, that involve their teams, and the pictures and the stories that we hear. It's rewarding on so many different levels to know that we as a company and have these individuals working for us that are making a difference in their communities, not because someone at Office Max said that you had to do it, but because they chose to do it, they want to do it. So having this opportunity to work with Turning Point and to expand our horizons and work with the community in different ways is absolutely something everyone I've talked to about what we're doing. And we're starting to get fixtures and put together this training facility, and we tell a little bit of the story about why we're doing this, how interested and how great they think it is that we're participating. So yes, it's an investment of time, but it's more about the reward that our associates and the communities get from us being able to participate and having great people wanting to do this every day.
Thank you.